Welcome everybody to the Lounge Weekly. Today is August 2nd of the hopefully better than last year 2021. We're gonna have a good time today. As you can see, my scene is different again, but I'm in between trips right now at my sister's apartment back in Dallas. But anyways, let me show you my setup real quick, because as a leader, sometimes you do what you gotta do. So this is me right now. I have her vanity light, little makeup mirror thing, a mic laying down. I was pointing to the picture, a mic laying down, and it is on some bar stools. Okay. And I'm in front of a low lit window. But the point is, again, as a leader, sometimes you just got to get it done. And that's what we're doing today. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to talk about briefing and debriefing events. Briefing and debriefing events. Okay? It matters. Why? Because briefing and debriefing provide powerful tools for real improvement in communication and in teamwork. Briefing and debriefing provide powerful tools for real improvement. That is a beautiful term to a leader. It's exactly what you want your team and your organization, your product, your service doing, is consistently improving. So briefing and debriefing provide powerful tools for real improvement in communication. Y'all know that there's a difference between communication and effective communication. So it provides improvement in communication, which is an incredibly important and vital, essential thing on teams, is effective communication. And it provides a way for your teamwork, your chemistry, your synergy to be improved as well. So when I'm saying briefing and debriefing, what I mean is some sort of team rally before to prepare, clear expectations, and some sort of rally debriefing after the event, whatever the event is, whether it's a luncheon, some type of banquet, a conference, a seminar, gathering. It doesn't necessarily have to be immediately on site. Debriefing, that is. Sometimes it's really good because it's still fresh, but if your team doesn't have the mental capacity because maybe you're exhausted, I would regather within 24 to 48 hours while it is still fresh. And then building the culture on your team to consistently take notes on, such items that we're going to go over here in a few minutes during the event, so that if 48 hours do pass by and you haven't had a chance to regather, to re-rally with the team, then it's still in a notepad, because a short pencil is better than a long memory oftentimes. So briefing and debriefing provide powerful tools for real improvement in communication and in teamwork. And leaders are consistently and constantly looking for ways for your team to improve on multiple levels. Okay, we are in the growth game. We about that growth life. Okay, so next, at briefing, there are some important things to cover. I've covered this, I believe, in a prior video, but I want to recap them today to get it on this specific video. Okay, at briefing, we need as leaders to communicate to our teams where to go. Okay, in other words, where is the briefing? Okay, where is the briefing? And when they get to the briefing, of course, communicate their task, like where do they go after the briefing? But communicate, where do they meet you? Okay, you can't just say, hey, meet me on site, or meet me on campus, or meet me generally in this space. Say specifically, meet me at the West Wing coffee shop on the floor, right? So be very specific on where to go. Next, when to be there. So we can't just say, hey, meet me around 6. Give them a very specific time. Meet me at 6 o'clock in the West Wing coffee shop. very specific time. Clear expectations. And then what to do. So when you are briefing, you're telling them where to go, what to do for their assignment, when to be in that specific place, however this translates into your context, what to do when they get to that place. So this is the bread and butter, giving them extreme practicals on how exactly, on what to do, rather. So this matters because if you set them up for a win, as leaders, we're consistently looking for improvements, elements of momentum, elements of growth. And then we are consistently looking for ways for our team members to sense like they are winning. This matters in so many ways, not just for the organization's momentum, but for their personal fulfillment. And this should matter as a leader, that your team members sense a level of satisfaction and joy and fulfillment. So if we tell them exactly, so if we're in the briefing meeting, whether it's on site the day of or in a meeting before, the week before, whatever, you're telling them exactly what to do when they get to that place that you've told them to go. Okay. And then when to leave. This is an easy one that leaders oftentimes overlook. We don't give them a dismissal time. We just assume that they know when to leave. And again, this might not exactly translate to your space, but oftentimes we are able to communicate this item right here, when to leave. Because what happens is they have an incredible time. Let's say they show up on time, in the space that you've told them to be. They're doing exactly what to do. And then the night closes with them a little confused. Like, oh, I don't really know. Tyler didn't really say when we get, okay, I guess we can leave. So they leave, insecurely and, not sure. And so this doesn't end on a high note for them. So think about, not only are they helping you host an experience, hosting an event, a party, a seminar, whatever, you as the leader are hosting their experience in the event. It's a paradigm shift. They're not just a bunch of little servants running out there and making it happen. This is culture. Hosting, because you also want, think about on the natural side of it, it's going to make them want to stick around your org longer. Your turnover will be much less. They'll be telling their friends, this is the place you want to work. And when you open up applications, you're not praying for a miracle that you get a couple hundred or plus, whatever. So my point is, team culture, if you create an experience for them as they create an experience for the organization and your customers, clients, congregation, whatever. Okay, so that's what you communicate to them at briefing. Where to go, when to be there, what to do. This is at the event, and when to leave. Okay. At debriefing. So this is after, right? So I love debriefing, by the way. So fun. So you ask your team a few questions. What worked? Let them have the floor. This is where you celebrate the wins. You really dive into the anatomy of the success, why it worked. Why do you think it worked? What was so valuable about these things? It could be as something simple as the flow of the event, to the host that you contracted out to come and do your event, to the flow of traffic in the parking lot, to the social media campaign, all that stuff, email marketing campaign, whatever. So what worked all the way systematically, structurally, flow, etc., the day of the actual event. So, okay, so what worked? What didn't work? This is a time to have what I call a hot culture, HOT, honest, open, and transparent. Nobody is allowed to get their feelings hurt. Now, you don't take jabs at people or, low blows at people, but you are very honest. And hey, I noticed this might, this might work better next time if we do this, this, and this. Try to bring solutions to the table because you do want to kind of plan for the next event or whatever. And there's something you can always learn. So this is a very valuable question. This is not a moment to roast or to be discouraged. This is a moment to say, okay, I'm not going to feel like I failed. I'm going to learn. It's a big difference. It's a mindset shift. Okay, so what didn't work? What was missing? So this can kind of couple with the question before, but what was missing? It's like, oh, you know what? This would have been really nice to have, or this would have helped the entire flow. This would have increased, efficacy, efficiency, but what was missing? And then what was confusing? What was absolutely confusing? What was a friction point? Did they know exactly what to do when they got on the street to turn into the parking lot of our campus, or of the event space, all the way to when they exited? What was confusing for them? What was a friction point? You got like 10, 15 seconds before people start really building a hardwired perception of your organization. And you want to be sure that that perception paints a really clear picture of your heart and of who you are, your values, your standards, okay, your culture. So what was confusing? And then you got to ask yourself as a leader, maybe this is even a personal one, you ask yourself that you don't necessarily do with the team. Maybe you can, depending on your story, your context. But what can I delegate? Like, what can you pass off as a leader to go deeper into what you need to go deeper in, to allow you to focus on maybe more weighty matters? But what can I delegate? And then what can you honor somebody with that they might find more fulfillment in, joy in? They might, one, do it better than us, or two, if they can do it 60% as good, as effective as what we could do it, then I think it's time to pass it off. Craig Groeschel, an incredible leader of our time, he has this acronym, GETMO, and GETMO, good enough to move on. Sometimes you just got to say it's good enough to move on. It's good enough to pass it off. They're good enough to hold it. We got to move on to the next task. So sometimes it just has to be good enough to move on. All right. You can't be stuck. So what can I delegate? I hope this helped you at all. I know it's incredibly short today, but if you put in the work will be worth it.